You want an easier way to review cat food, I completely understand, so I created a free cat food label cheat sheet pamphlet by Jericho. These will have the most meat. It's better to see that than chicken and potato or beef and rice, for example. Meat byproducts, poultry byproducts, meat meal, bone meal, fish meal. These are all very nondescript and they could possibly be rendered ingredients which might contain 4D meats, dead, diseased, dying, or disabled. Hey friends, it's Jess and Jericho, and this video is sponsored by me. So the cat food label cheat sheet is free, but I also create cat care printables that I sell on Etsy. This will help you keep track of your cat's feeding routines, food transition, medical records, litter box log, his likes, dislikes, and so much more. You can check out those printables on Etsy. The link is in the description. Thank you very much for your support. So in the description and the pinned comment, you'll see a link to sign up for my free cat food label cheat sheets. The link will open, it looks like this. So all you have to do is plug in your email and subscribe. This will add you to my weekly newsletter list. It'll also provide me with your email so I know where to send the cat food label cheat sheets. So this is what the cheat sheets look like. First, I explain how to use the cheat sheets. These are general guidelines. This is basically everything that I've learned since 2017 boiled down as simply as possible. And so first you're going to look at the product name. You want to aim for something simple like chicken recipe, beef dinner, turkey feast by Jericho. These will have the most meat. It's better to see that than chicken and potato or beef and rice, for example. Next, the ingredients list. There are far too many to avoid than I can include on the cheat sheets, but the ones that I've included are the most common that are found that you want to avoid. If you don't know what something is, look it up. Next, the guaranteed analysis. AFCO does not require carbohydrates on the guaranteed analysis, so unfortunately we have to calculate this on our own. Next, you're going to want to look at the nutritional adequacy statement. So this is going to tell you if the food is complete and balanced and for which life stage. If it says complete and balanced for all life stages, that means that it is a standalone meal and it's a complete and balanced diet for all life stages. If it says for intermittent or supplemental feeding only, that means it is a treat or a topper. It does not offer everything that your cat needs as a standalone meal. Get that scratcher. Next, which is super important, high moisture is best. So if your only options are between dry and wet food always wins no matter who makes it, as long as it's complete and balanced, simply because wet food has appropriate moisture content and dry food does not. So here's the actual cheat sheet. So for the product name, if it's a simple cat food name with no descriptive words, 95 to 100% of that named ingredient is +2. If there's a word like dinner platter, entree, formula, feast, recipe, nuggets, something like that is going to be 25 to 94.9% of those named ingredients. If it's meat only, 1.5. If it's a combo of meat and non-meat, for example, beef and potato or chicken and rice, then you would only add half a point if the meat is first. If you see the words with and flavor in the product name, completely disregard that product because that's going to have the lowest amount of meat in it. And then again, the most common ingredients that you'll see, meat byproducts, poultry byproducts, meat meal, bone meal, fish meal. These are all very nondescript and they could possibly be rendered ingredients which might contain 4D meats, dead, diseased, dying, or disabled. Other nondescriptive ingredients include liver. So instead of saying chicken liver, beef liver, lamb liver, it just says liver. Well, where did it come from? Which animal provided this liver? That is something that you want to avoid, that mystery right there. Other ones, animal fat, doesn't specify which animal. Fish oil, doesn't specify which type of fish. Animal digest, natural flavor. We have no idea what that means because they're not telling us the exact animal. Other ingredients to avoid, corn, wheat, yeast, rice, soy, sugar, salt. Lots of synthetic ingredients. Colors like yellow 5, yellow 6, red 40, etc. Chemical preservatives, BHT, BHA, ethoxyquin. Binding agents like gums, carrageenan, yucca, tapioca, etc. These are all fillers and there are resources in the description below that explain why you should avoid these ingredients. This video, we're just going over the cheat sheet. So the next section here is for the guaranteed analysis. So you're going to fill in protein, fat, fiber, moisture, and ash. If the ash isn't listed, just use 3. That's kind of like an average, but of course this varies between the type of food. Subtracting all of this from 100 will give you the carb amount, including moisture. Then you have to convert it to a dry matter basis. That means to remove the moisture. You may notice that with kibble, it looks like there's higher protein than wet food. That's because wet food has higher moisture. When you convert it to a dry matter basis, aka take the water out of the equation, the wet food typically actually has higher protein than the kibble. It's very important to convert to a dry matter basis. So you would take 100 minus the moisture content. That will give you the dry matter of the entire food. Then you're going to take the carb percent, divide it by the dry matter of the entire food, multiply by 100 to turn it back into a percent. And you can use this same equation here for protein and fat, whatever nutrient you want to analyze on a dry matter basis. So if it's greater than 10% carbs on a dry matter basis, plus 0. If it's less than 10% carbs on a dry matter basis, plus 1, because ideally you want to have less than 10% carbs on a dry matter basis. Additionally, if the moisture content is greater than 65, that's a plus 1. If it's less than 65, that's plus 0. So basically, if you're analyzing dry food, that's probably going to have the lowest score because moisture is important for cats. Water is the most important nutrient above all. If this is too overwhelming, then just value moisture, aka water, over anything else and choose wet food instead of dry food, as long as it says complete and balanced. If you're looking at freeze-dried raw food, the moisture is going to be low. You would still add a point because you're going to rehydrate with water. So the moisture content will improve when you rehydrate with water. Give me a polydactyl thumbs up if this is helpful so far so that more people that need to analyze cat food can find this video. Thanks so much. Now, a bonus here that I included is manufacturer information because a lot of the cat food brands that you see on the shelf are actually owned by the same company, and that same multi-billion-dollar company also produces junk food for humans. So, who owns the brand? Are there any other pet food brands under this manufacturer? Who manufactures the product? Are there human food brands under this manufacturer? And are these pet and human foods any good? That's going to give you a fair judgment on whether their pet food is healthy or not. They don't really care about producing healthy human food. Why would they produce healthy cat food? I had 11 cats in my life before I adopted Jericho, and I had no idea that majority of the cat food brands are owned by the same company. It's really crazy. So now let's look at a cat food label example. So we have over here on the left, good, wet food, bad, dry food. The product name for the good wet food is beef recipe. Product name for the bad dry food is with beef and rice. So the problem here is with, which means there's going to be less than 25% of the named ingredients, and there's a meat and a non-meat ingredient. So this product probably has equal or more rice than beef in this product. Whereas on the left, beef recipe, that's going to have at least 25% beef, and there's no non-meat ingredients in the product name. Then when you look at the ingredients, the good version should have at least beef, ground beef bone, beef heart, beef liver, 70% moisture. Those are super specific. Ground beef bone instead of just saying bone meal. Beef liver instead of just saying liver or meat byproducts. 70% moisture instead of 10% moisture. Some bonus ingredients are other secreting organs like kidneys, spleen, and then the blood. Maybe you'll see raw goat milk or ground eggshell, and of course, very low percent carbs on a dry matter basis. Then I also included another example that you can take a look at. And I've also included some FAQ and of course links to all of the resources so that you can look into it on your own. Education is the best tool that you have. I've been studying this since 2017 and I'm still learning every day. So the more you know, the better, the more educated you can be. And of course, very important, cats are extremely sensitive to food changes and they're also picky about new food. So check out this video right over 𝐤𝐄𝐄. It's my full transition guide specifically formulated for picky cats. Thanks for watching.